We're just going to take the time at the top of the town hall to just let Gavin and Gio just address the fans. So Gavin, why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Katie. First of all, thank you to everyone for taking the time this evening. The attendance is impressive and obviously shows us and reminds us how important this club is to you all. This has been a very difficult and challenging time for the club, for you as fans, for me personally. And we have a lot to discuss, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to connect with you. The club, I believe, has always been a model of excellence, both on and off the field. And the bar that we hold ourselves to is high, and you have the right to hold us to that same level. But we are looking forward to this opportunity, and I'd like to thank Gio. I'd like to thank Diego Chara, Sebastián, Blanco, and Eryk Williamson for taking the time this evening. And personally, I'm looking forward to another exciting season. Gio was asked to reflect on last year and to get so close and not win that final game. I think it is a motivating factor for 2022, and having Blanco back healthy, having Eryk back, having Yaro back for the full season. There's a lot of positives that we have to look forward to. The addition of David Ayala is another massive positive for the club. Gives us another young midfielder coming through, and just wanted to say I'm looking forward to it, and I thank you again for taking the time this evening. Gio.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin. Thank you all for being part of this meeting. I wish this meeting could have been in person. Hopefully in the future will be the case. That way we can be closer. Also thank you for everything that you always do for this club and the support that you provide, which is incredible. And we all feel that from the top to the bottom, all the players, everyone involved. And as Gavin was saying, a season in which we made it to the final. What we experienced in Portland in that final was amazing. And unfortunately, we couldn't lift the trophy. So we coming back to this year, 2022, very hungry with the desire to be very competitive and try to do everything that we can to represent Portland in the best possible way and to try to make it all the way. But thank you everyone for being part of this meeting and exciting about this new year coming up.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate those opening thoughts and remarks from both Gavin and Gio. We're going to start off with taking a few questions for the players on the call here. This first question is for Diego. Susan would like to know that I know that many players have pregame rituals that they like to do. Do you have any pregame rituals? I noticed you're often the only person with a shirt tucked in on the field. Is that a ritual of yours?
That's a great question. I think it's not a ritual. I think the only thing for me, when I have the time to play a game, I just pray to God to be safe in that game. I think that's the only thing I do in every game.
Thanks. Thank you, Diego, for answering that question. Got a couple questions, both for Seba and Eryk. Seba, some of the fans would like to know how you're feeling and if you are excited to get back on the pitch here soon.
Yes, of course. I'm very happy to be back here. I still preparing myself to be ready for the start of the season, but hungry. We want a revenge for the last year. We still be a competitive team every year a little more. So I think we are in a good way. So very exciting for this new season.
Thank you, Seba. And a very, very similar question for you, Eryk. A lot of fans are wondering how your kind of recovery is going with your knee and how eager are you to get back on the field and see minutes?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling really strong. I've been really antsy these last, 2 months to kind of be ready for this start of the season. I don't know if it's from game one, but I think it's, we're in a good spot where I'll be able to at least, maybe game 2, game 3, to start the argument of being in the team and trying to get minutes from there.
Really appreciate those answers, guys. gonna take a question, some questions here for Gavin specifically. Several people are asking about the different investigations that are going on, both the Andy Polo and in relation to the Paul Riley investigation. So one question specifically, Gavin, why did the Timbers wait until the Andy Polo domestic abuse reports became public before taking any action?
Katie, thank you. In regards to the Andy Polo situation, one of the things to make very clear, and we actually announced this last week, is Andy Polo's contract was not terminated because of any public reports accusing him of domestic violence. The termination was based on new information that we found out 2 weeks ago that came out of Peru. Our decision to terminate Andy Polo's contract was based on that new information. It was a different allegation. It was a new incident. And one of the things, and we speak about often, the club has a zero tolerance for domestic violence, Katie. And with this said, MLS has announced a thorough review into the May 2021 allegations. We're fully cooperating with that process. And for me personally, and as president of soccer and GM of the Portland Timbers, I take responsibility for everything that happens with this club, and including the mistakes. What we knew in May is extremely different to what we learned 2 weeks ago. The incident in May we thought was isolated, and when we learned of these new allegations, we took immediate action. And with the review going on, I can't go into too much detail, and I apologize. It's not out of secrecy. It's not out of trying to cover things up. It's simply out of sharing the process of what we did with MLS. And I do look forward to MLS concluding their review, and they will make sure that their findings are made public. But we hold the players to a very high standard, Katie. We're constantly reviewing our processes and protocols, and we hold ourselves to a very high standard. So thank you.
Thanks for addressing that, Gavin. Along the same lines, what can you say about the Paul Riley investigation, and specifically about the comments you made regarding Mana Shim?
Oh, Katie, in regards to the ongoing investigation with the NWSL and US Soccer, I wish I could share everything. I wish I could speak openly and honestly about it. However, with the investigation that's ongoing, I cannot share as much as I would like to, and neither can the club. We're looking into the events, and we're looking into everything that happened. And I do believe, and the Thorns anticipate, that we will be able to share the findings of US Soccer and the NWSL. Once they have their conclusions, we'll be able to make these findings public. And then I look forward to reviewing them and discussing them again with the fans. And one of the things that people should know is that we have concluded our own internal investigation, and the staff and the players had the ability to answer a lot of tough questions, and they were able to get the answers to those tough questions. For you as fans, it has to be frustrating, and I feel that frustration, and I share that frustration. You have tough questions to ask, and we can't answer them, and we can't give you the facts. We can't share with you everything about what has been laid out publicly. But we are looking forward to sharing those as soon as the NWSL and the US Soccer organizations conclude the investigations, and we do look forward to that. In regards to Mana Shim, personally, I cannot tell you how apologetic I am and how much I regret saying bullshit to Meg Lenahan. When I was asked the question and I made the statement, I reacted in a way that was poor, and in retrospect, I wish I'd never uttered those words. I felt that my beliefs in equality were being questioned, and I answered the question poorly. And I'm a believer and a firm believer that perception is reality. And I accept that Mana spoke her truth. I accept that I upset Mana. And from my personal standpoint, anybody that knows me knows that if I ever felt or spoke where Mana felt silenced, that was not my intent, and I apologize. I hope to have the day, a day in the future where I can apologize to Mana in person and speak through this and discuss the meeting that took place. And that meeting's not open for discussion right now, and it's not to be litigated. The fact is that I made Mana feel a certain way, and in all honesty, it was poor of me. And I go back to the perception as reality, and I owe Mana an apology. In looking at this, though, and looking at the staff that we have and looking at who we are as an organization, for me, one of the proudest days that I can recall is in 2014. I believe we were one of the first professional sports organizations that endorsed fully same-sex marriage. And I know for the club, for the staff, for me personally, that was a very important step forward, and it speaks volumes about who we are as a club. And I understand, and I know that this was a very important day for the club, and I think we were all on the same page, and we represented one another in a very strong way. And I do think we have a long track record and as a history of embracing players' opinions and letting players speak the truth about what they believe in and voicing their opinions and sharing in that opinion as well. I think Portland's unique in so many different ways, and I see that as a massive positive. I do take responsibility. I go back to what I said. I hope our track record over 10 years speaks to that, but I do make mistakes. I have made mistakes, and if the league conducts the investigations and there's an outcome from that, I will take responsibility. I want to make sure that my actions ensure that this organization continues to be proactive in every way and that we continue to grow, Katie. And for me, I have a lot of regret about saying the word bullshit to Mana. And I think when you look at the club and you look at the track record and you start to think who we are and what we represent, I do honestly believe that we represent our fan base. And we do say that our fans are one of the pillars of our community, and they hold us to a high standard, and it's one that we want to embrace.
Thanks, Gavin. In light of these investigations, several fans are asking what the organization is doing to inspire confidence and what actions are going to be taken in light of some of the mistakes that have happened in the past.
Thanks, Katie. We're learning every day. There's a constant reflection. One of the things that I say is that everybody has the right and the power to question the process. They also have the right to question the outcome. And I think if I was to look at us as a club and look at how we've been successful, it's the collective. It's the fans holding the club accountable. It's us holding one another accountable. It's the players holding us accountable. And I think in the reflection process, we don't need to wait for an investigation to show us a better path in which to move forward. I think if we start to look at improvements that we can make, we have to start with inclusivity. We have to, follow that up with transparency. And I know that the first couple of questions that you asked, a lot of it's about transparency, and we want to be transparent. We want to be able to share the facts. And I would love the opportunity, minus COVID, to be able to meet in person. I understand that we need to evolve as a club and we need to take big steps forward. And for me, a lot of it's to do with compliance with all of these things and making sure that we're a positive representation. I also do think that if those findings and those investigations show that we did something poorly, as an organization, we have to take responsibility. We have to take action, and whether that action is termination or discipline, we will act the right way. And I think that's where it's very, very important to have those facts. And we hold our players accountable to the highest standards. We hold our staff accountable, and I'm included in that. Gio's included in that. And, we have an ownership that does hold us accountable. We have to be representative of what this organization needs to be. And we've always tried to be a beacon of light with the things that we've done, and we are held to that. And we're constantly questioned on, are we doing the right thing, and are we going about things the right way? And we're constantly looking to make improvements. I think with what has happened, we have to wait for the MLS and the NWSL findings, and when they conclude and those findings become public, we have to have another discussion about the best way to move forward. And we have to look at ways that we avoid making a similar mistake. We have to get stronger as a club. We have to make sure that we have no oversight. And for me, the biggest thing is we have to look to earn the trust back of the fans. And I know that I'm a culprit right now, and I've led to that. All I would ask is an open mind. I would ask that we continue to look at the facts, and that we will work our rear ends off to earn back the trust of every single one of you. So that's a good question, in my opinion, and we've got a lot of work to do, and our actions will speak louder than words.
Thanks, Gavin. I've got one more question for you here. Some of the fans want to know, what do you say to them when they say that they think you shouldn't be the GM of the Timbers anymore in light of everything?
Good question. I guess if for me and my family, all I've ever done, and I've been a part of this organization for 21 years, and one of my biggest motivators has been fear of failure, and failure can represent a lot of different things, and failure can be losing games, it can be not winning championships, it can be fans wanting you gone for what they perceive to be all the right reasons. I go back to perception is reality. I'm asking for a little bit of patience for the facts to come out, and I'm asking for a little bit of faith, I guess. Katie, I'm human. I do make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but you know, I do care about this club. I have worked tirelessly for a long time to make sure that we bring in good people, and that we have great representatives, not only on the field and that we win games, but that those people are great ambassadors for this brand. And I look at the Valeries, I look at the Charas, Blanco and Williamson, I look at Gio, I look at our staff, and you know, I know that when we're united and there's not the cloud hanging over the club, I know that we're more successful. I know that when we're aligned in loving what we see on the field, and we are in sync. Right now, I know that I'm being questioned. I'm not saying I don't deserve to be questioned, but I can't speak about the facts. I do hold this club very dear, as do you. And I'm hoping that the forum like today is useful. And if this becomes more regular, I'm open to that. I know that I'm in the firing line right now, and I accept that. And I continue to work hard to try and make sure that everything we do from a club perspective and everything we put on the field, you can see how much we care. You can see how much everyone is invested. And I think we bring in good people, high character, we raise the bar. And, you know, all I can say is I will continue to try and work to earn your trust and be more transparent. So I'm not sure.
Appreciate it, Gavin. Thank you for answering, obviously, a lot of questions right there in a row and really going in depth. We're going to give Gio some questions here. We've got a lot of great questions in the chat. Starting off with, we've got a fan who would like to know, how do you see David Ayala being utilized on the team this year?
Yes, before I answer the question of Ayala, which is an exciting question, I want to make sure that I explain also as well that yes, I am a head coach, and my responsibility is to coach the team, to make sure that this team is as competitive as it can be. But I have a great belief in the leadership of this club, in Gavin, in Merritt, in the culture that we have within, in how we have a relationship among our staff, players. It is a great place to come and work. And I believe that the important part of our success has been how much we care about this club. And especially for me, one of the big reasons why I came to Portland is because of the fan base, because I always felt the passion in this place, and I continue to feel this way. So I have a tremendous belief in this club and in what we're doing in within. With the question that you ask, I mean, we have Ayala. He's already with us. He practiced for the first time yesterday. Exciting to see these young players coming in, like Bravo, like Moreno. They are coming here with such a great desire to improve, to get better, but with so much confidence and quality that you can sense already from the start that they come in here hungry to prove themselves, to become important for the club. And we have seen that from especially Bravo and Moreno last year, how well they did, how much they developed. And this year, I'm even more excited, adding Ayala, seeing the youngsters coming in and be able to play. We saw the progression and the development of Eryk Williamson, that he's with us, how much endurance, how much desire he had to work, and it wasn't easy for him, but now we see his maturity, his quality, how much he has grown, and now in an incredible way, he's very close to returning to be able to be available. So there's a lot of exciting things happening right now with our preseason being so good. Having the chance to work with also academy players in this preseason was a great experience, and we're very excited about this 2022 season.
Thanks so much for taking that question there, Gio. Let's see, we've got a lot of questions here in the chat. Someone wanted to specifically know about Dyrone, Gio, and his just improvement and breakout from last year, and what you can hopefully hope to see potentially him take another step, or what you're looking for in him this year.
Dyrone, what a great year he had last year. So what I can say about Dyrone is he was able to show everyone for the full year what we see, or what we have seen on a constant basis in practice. And I think there was a maturity, reach for his part. I think he had also some emotional things that happened to him personally. I think also the support of people that were around him, like Diego Chara. I think a few different reasons allow him last year to feel so confident and ready to be able to give everything that he has shown us in practices, and grow and mature in this way. So we hope, and we definitely are looking forward to seeing him even improve more this year, to give us even more. It's not easy because last year he was a tremendous player for us, but I still think that this year we'll see a Dyrone that will continue to evolve and do even better. So it's exciting with him and the other players that will stay competitive. They're going to make it, I think, very difficult for me to make decisions. And that's, what a coach would like to have.
Thanks so much, Gio. Diego, we have a couple questions for you here specifically. One fan wants to know, I think they think you can play till you're probably about 50 years old. He wants to know if you do, will you retire before the age of 50? And also someone else specifically asked, when you do retire, hopefully in a long, long time, would you like to live and stay in Portland with your family?
I mean, I have a clear goal in talking about my career. I would like to play until 40 years old. I cross my fingers and then maybe try to get it. And yes, I think talking about my future is most likely to stay in Portland because my kids are growing up here. Portland is like a home. My family feel pretty good here. I have a friends and now family with Jimmy. And yes, I think it's a big chance to stay in Portland.
Awesome, Diego. That's great to hear. This is a fan submitted question. Actually, a fan submitted this from their 11-year-old daughter. That she's a huge fan, and I think this is for, I think all of the players could take this. what do you guys like to do in your free time? And do you have any favorite hobbies or things you like to do in Portland? So I think all three of you, Eryk, Seba, Diego can answer that. And hey, I think if Gio and Gavin want to answer that too, I think that'd be great.
First of all, for me, just share time with my kids, try to spend quality time with them. And like a hobby, sometimes draw something, play Xbox or PlayStation. I think that's my hobby.
Eryk, what about you?
I would say I like to go to coffee shops a lot, just kind of hang out at coffee shops, maybe, read a little, sit back and just kind of like people watch. Portland's a place where you can run into people and you can have a conversation with anyone and everyone. I think that's what I love about the city so much. So it's been good, just kind of go downtown, grab a coffee, grab an espresso, something that, just kind of sit back and enjoy the weather. I think we're in a little bit of a cold right now, so staying away from that. But not a big hiker, not a big nature guy. So just trying to get a new hobby here in Portland, other than obviously I'm into shoes, into video games a little bit, but just kind of, trying something new, I think is kind of my goal this year.
Seba, what about you? What do you like to do in your free time?
I don't have a routine. Try to be our daughter's entertainment. That is tough. But I also spend the time with my family. We are far away to our family or friends, so try to stay with them, play with my daughter. The time runs so fast. They grow up so fast too, so try to spend a long time, but go to the park together, restaurant, coffee, try to enjoy the time.
Awesome. I think we got some great recommendations. I don't know, I guess you have to go to Eryk for coffee shop recommendations, fans. Sounds like he's a coffee aficionado these days. So this is, I think, a question that both Gavin and Gio could potentially answer together and take a turn at answering. What positions are you still looking to add to the roster? What skills are you looking to try to add to the roster positionally?
So we have, I'll start with what we have available, and then we'll circle back into more positional element. We've added two players with the U22 initiative, Santiago Moreno last year, which I think is a tremendous addition and a very exciting player, very versatile in the way that he can play, but very much fits our philosophy in what we want to do on the field and how we want to play. And in adding David Ayala, we've got a very strong midfield. We've got Christian Paredes, Eryk Williamson, Diego Chara, and adding and George Fashive, and adding David to that group provides great competition within that position, especially when you're playing with a combination of three central midfielders, and that can look in a number of different ways. And you're adding Blanco or Yimi in and even Santiago in at the 10. It's got a lot of different looks that I think give Gio a lot of flexibility. Where I was going with this is we have one player slot left, and we're looking to take our time in assessing the needs of the group and what we believe will make us stronger. We were looking to add a young central defender in looking to provide competition, and also to maximizing the development in a position that we think we need, with Zach doing it extremely well in preseason and showcasing what he can bring. We've been able to delay that decision now to saying, okay, where can we move forward? Where should we look to fill that spot, and at what time? So for me, there's always question marks over individual performance. There's question marks on what we can do to make the squad stronger. The way in which we would make the squad stronger is through adding that player in the right position. And we will make that decision after we evaluate the first 4 or 5 games of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I've been saying all along. I know that in some interviews I have mentioned the interest in us filling that center back position. But as Gavin mentioned, right now we feel that we might have more need in a different position, maybe a more attacking player. also because of the confidence that we have seen preseason with Zach McGraw, with Toloma, with Mabiala and Suparic hopefully returning earlier, and the group being stronger defensively. So we might focus on a different way, and most likely this week we might announce one more player that might join us. And
I think you can do that now.
yes, so Gutierrez will be able to be part of our team, first team. He's shown some good things during the preseason. So this week will be done. He's signing with the Timbers, so he will be another player available for us going forward. And that's how well so many of the new players that have been drafted have done in order to compete and earn the possibility to be with the first team, and some of them being with as well with the LDL team, the second team that we will be playing this year.
Thanks for that update, guys. We really appreciate that. I think this is a good question for all the players. Who is the toughest player to play against that you come up against? Like, who's the toughest player to play against in practice, in training? You just don't like going up against them in training in a drill. Why don't you lead us off, Seba? Who do you just not want to see in a drill?
Can Chara start?
Okay, we can make Chara start. We can make Chara.
Okay. I will start. For me, it's Pablo Bonilla. You know, this guy is really hard. He's always to tackle everyone. It's a hard, strong player. I think, in my opinion, he's one of the hardest players to play against in practice.
Okay, Seba or Eryk, one of you gotta go next.
That's what I was thinking about him, but no, he's good in the training. No, I agree. Pablo is very hard. So I train him more of the time in his size, and he's very, very hard. The same like the game. And sometimes Zach McGraw he can control the strength. But sometimes good, the practice for the game. So it's good.
I think if you go both sides, I think Yimi's one that offensively, like trying to defend him is one that's, you every day you just like, all right, let's see if I can do this. And it's kind of hard to do, but I think I'd agree with Seba on the defensive side of Zach. Strong guy. It's hard to get around him. So it's one that I think everyone tries to stay away from at training, because you never know if he's gonna, two-hand push you off the ball or maybe tackle a little harder than the normal. So
nice. I like the insight into what a training session is like on a regular basis for you guys. This is a good question for Gio, I think.
Sorry, Katie, can we ask Eryk, what about when it's Blanco when he gets upset? Does anybody want to play against Blanco?
I don't know if we can play against
Blanco.
Yeah.
I think we just need to end training when Blanco's like that.
I think my first 3 years I have the more fighting with, I think, 4 or 5 players, but I changed now and quiet.
I love it. Great competitive energy in the group. That's awesome. Robert would like to know, Gio, what makes Providence Park such a great place to play home games? In what ways do the fans add to the enthusiasm and effort of the players, do you think?
What a great question. I mean, I will start first with the location of where Providence Park is. I mean, when you're talking about a stadium being right in downtown, in the middle of the city, that you can walk to it, that's for us, that we're passionate for the game, is one great thing. And then when you look at how the stadium has been built, so it's been renewed, but you can feel still, the old areas, what it used to be. So the tradition of the place. So you feel that you are in a temple, in a very important place. And then when you add up the passion of the fans and starting from them coming the night before the match and being outside, and I have had the opportunity to be able to see the people eating dinner, doing the line, preparing themselves on a very cold day outside. For me, that's incredible. That passion that everybody just has to wait in order to get good seats, and once the day comes, and you know, you feel the environment, you feel that there's a game, you feel all around Portland this energy that you know, everyone is waiting for the game to start. And once, you know, we come into the stadium, then that's another thing. I mean, the noise, the support, the chants, the way the fans go, the different, you know, things that the fans are used to, with the scarf going up, the national anthem. I remember the first game that we played here against Minnesota, and I heard the national anthem being sang by the fans. I mean, I still right now get chills on how amazing this place feels, and everybody knows it in the league. Everyone wants to come and play against Portland because they know that here's where you feel that soccer is real, and the passion of the fans just give us more to want to be successful and be more competitive, and give them back, you know, that support that we feel every single game when they come here. So I can go on, and because there's so much more that I can tell you. And that's why I think this place is very special with the fans that we have.
Thanks, Gio. That's a great answer. And yeah, we're very privileged to have a great stadium and a great fan base. Gavin, I think this will be a good question for you to potentially answer. One fan is wondering about any planned tributes for Diego Valeri in the future, and plans to recognize him.
Yes, and whatever we do will not be enough. There is an agreement where we are waiting for Diego Valeri to retire, and he's going to become an ambassador for the Portland Timbers, and that is going to be a complex role that involves responsibilities with fans, responsibilities internationally, and also helping grow our brand. What Diego did for the Portland Timbers was phenomenal. I think there's several players, including Chara, Blanco, that you'd put in a unique category where it's remarkable what they've been able to achieve in Portland. Valeri, with him now being in Lanús, he didn't play in the last game. He played in the two previous ones, I believe. We are looking to close the chapter with him, and we're looking to play a testimonial game for Diego Valeri at Providence Park against Lanús, where he plays half a game for Lanús against the Portland Timbers, and then finishes with the Portland Timbers playing against Lanús in an exhibition game. And this has been a work in progress to honor Diego Valeri. There's also things that I believe that we will be doing in and around the community, in the stadium, to honor him at that one particular game. And he helped this club in so many different ways on and off the field, and that's the least we can do to be respectful.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing all that with us, Gavin. This question's for Diego. Stacy says she loves seeing you play with your brother. How much fun do you have playing with your brother?
I mean, it's great. Has been a dreams come true. You know, when we were kids, we play all the time together, and they have the possibility to play as a professional. For us, it's a great experience for our family. They are really happy to have this opportunity to play in Portland together, and hopefully this year try to have the possibility to get to the final game and try to win the trophy together.
Awesome. Thank you, Diego. This question I think can go to every person on here, all three players, Gavin and Gio. What is your best moment that you've had as part of the club or as a player here, specifically at Providence Park? Is there anything that really stands out in this specific stadium for you? Why don't we start with Sebastián, Blanco, Seba, if you feel up for it.
A lot of moments, nice moments, but particularly in Providence Park, of course, the final we won against Salt Lake was beautiful with our people, our family, enjoy the moment. Unfortunately, we can achieve the final, the MLS Cup. But I think for the people that bring the final at home was unique sensation, and it's difficult in a long season with too many teams. Be the team who bring the cup to our home, I think was the best moment. But I have many.
Awesome. Thanks, Seba. Eryk, what about you? What's your favorite moment or something that stands out at Providence Park since you've been at Timber?
Yeah, I think coming back from Gold Cup was kind of a good return home. Everyone kind of showed the support that everyone was watching with the national team. But I think one that stood out to me was kind of when Seba came back. It kind of felt like the moment slowed down, and it's one that I've kind of been anticipating and kind of waiting for. So it's one that I'm excited to get back to playing, to kind of hopefully get that feeling of playing for the friends again.
What about you, Diego? Anything stand out? I'm sure there's a lot of things.
Yes, I'm playing for 11 years in the club, It's a lot of big memories. But I agree with Sebas. I think the final in Portland, it wasn't perfect. But I mean, to score that goal from Felipe Mora in the last minute, I mean, that's a great memory for me. It was a great feeling in that moment. I mean, the atmosphere in the stadium was great. I think that's one of my best memory with the team.
All right. What about Gio and Gavin? What about you guys?
I would say every win against Seattle. I would say I share in the same sentiments as the players. I would say the first game against Chicago. I would say the win against Kansas. It could go on and on. Where we won on penalties and to advance. There's so many memorable moments. It's hard to differentiate between them all, but it's playing that final in Portland was obviously extremely important and very memorable, but that's just one of many.
And for me, yes, of course, every game that we win, especially when we beat Seattle, every competitive match, like the final, every trophy that we lift, that Mora goal, as Chara was saying, it was incredible seeing the stadium, and the feeling was unbelievable. So every moment that the team gets a good result, but I go beyond that, and the guys were saying it, is when Seba returned and was able to score, and seeing him going to the fans, to the family, and the hugs of the players, Eryk lifting the trophy for the national team after a hard work that he did through these years to get there and be able to be very important in the final. Diego Chara with the recognition from the fans to understand, how big of a person he is and as a player for this organization, and on is the details of the enjoyment, the success of each player that makes me feel that those are the greatest moments that I have every time that I'm here in Portland.
Thanks, guys. Really, really great stuff on that question in particular. This is a question for Gio from Chris. His comment is, soccer tactics evolve every year. What changes should we look out for in the team's playing style this year, maybe compared to previous years?
I think we have a style that the players understand very well in the way we want to play. Sometimes we're able to execute it better. Sometimes we need a little more work to get there. And sometimes, you get results with better performance or with less performance, and sometimes the result they don't come with better performances. What I will say is that I think we do have a group this year that I believe can give the possibility for us to achieve that higher level of where we want to be. And from that point, we can definitely continue to grow. We have changed last year because of so many injuries, so many different, I think we almost play every formational system last year possible to make sure that we stay competitive. Sometimes it went well, sometimes it didn't. But I think what we're looking for in this year is being very steady, is trying to make sure that game by game we can be as competitive, in the result, in the way we play, and in that the defense can see a team starting well and evolving, game after game to be strong. And I know that we have had, in the past, some ups and downs, and we found good moments to be able to peak in order to stay competitive. But we're looking forward this year, trying to be more balanced, more steady. And I think the way the schedule gives us that possibility to be able to focus in that way. And the players that we have, I think, will bring something even a little bit different in the qualities, but a lot of good things for us to be excited about.
Thanks, Gio. This is for the players, but I also think Gio could probably answer this as well. So let's start with, we'll start with Eryk on this one, and then we can go around the horn. Where is the toughest place to play, you think, in the league?
Oof, I mean, granted, it's newer, but Austin was tough. Austin was an environment they did really well to build, and I think we really struggled there. And I think it's one that we can improve on, but it was definitely a tough place to play.
What about you, Diego? Toughest place to play?
For me, Atlanta. I think we play a few games there, and we get just, I think, one good result. It was tight, 1-1. But I mean, I think the atmosphere in that stadium is really, really good.
No, I think we might have lost Diego. I think he might have froze on us there, unfortunately. So we'll see if we can get him back. Seba, do you have a toughest place to play, you think?
I think Atlanta is very good place. But also the place where it's a big atmosphere with a lot of people. I like it. I prefer. So I feel more uncomfortable the where we play in a place where the people is not involved for the game. Like, I don't know, I don't like maybe Colorado also for the weather. So I think this is where I don't like to play. Yeah.
I feel like Gio was thinking, is like, what place do I think is the toughest play? Gio, do you have a thought on that one?
Yeah, no, definitely. I really think that definitely you can talk about, competitiveness places. There's many, but I think always the most difficult places are those places like Houston in the middle of the summer, when you cannot breathe, when it's very difficult to be able to catch your best breath and survive through the entire match. And in those games, you have to be very clever, very efficient, very smart in the way you manage the ball and the way you play, because it can definitely become very, very complicated if you don't do things the right way. And I'm saying, mostly when you go there in July, in August, can be very difficult. I mean, I have heard also, and when I used to play in Miami, so we haven't played Miami yet during the period of time. So I know that it can be very difficult as well. I know that Dallas can be that way as well, but we have been very lucky not to play there during that time. So for me, it's definitely Houston because of the weather in sometimes when we have games there. And I think a record shows that as well. I think we only have win once there in the history of the Timbers. And I think it was last year, which we feel very, very, very happy about.
This is a question for Gavin. It's a little bit about roster building mechanisms. Obviously, MLS has different spending buckets, DPs, TAM, all the different money. Wondering what you think of those, and if maybe you'd be in favor of a salary cap or a different system for spending.
So I think most in my position would prefer just a one collective budget and one collective number that we have in which to build our rosters. We have all the different mechanisms in which we can build with GAM, with TAM, and that gives us the ability to enter into trades within the league. However, the way in which we've built our roster is we've generally looked at ways to try and accumulate to get better. Jeremy Ebobisse is not a player that we ever wanted to lose, for example, but the return on him made it feasible for us to look to move a player with his knowledge and look to get better. I would prefer one number, one cap, without all the different mechanisms. It does add a level of complication, especially in explaining it to people. But I also think that we are a club that have maximized our cap to build a good depth component to the group, where there's 2 players in nearly every position that can challenge for a starting spot. And especially with the draft that we've had this year that Ned Grabavoy led and did a tremendous job with, I think our depth is getting better. Now it's a matter of maximizing the cap and looking at ways to continue to grow. But as we evolve as a league, I'm hopeful we'll get there.
Great, that's appreciate that. I think this could be for both Gavin and Gio to talk about. Kind of, can you give us an update on T2 and where that kind of stands? I know we saw the announcement of Shannon Murray as head coach, and maybe kind of how you see that fitting into the development structure and the team going forward.
So I think it's imperative for us as a club to continue to grow, to actually have T2 as a platform in which to give players the chance. I think if Eryk looks back on his career, Bill Tuiloma, Jeremy Ebobisse, Marvin Loria, Renzo Zambrano, who was here last year, and what we have missed in the last couple of years is the ability for a Zach McGraw to get games, the ability for a Hunter to get games in goal at a very competitive level, so we can continue to help to develop these players. Within the last couple of years, we've missed that link between the academy and the first team. So we've allowed or embraced players going to college and look to bring them back for the first team. I think having staff that know Gio, know the way that Gio works, that are willing to combine and integrate into the first team is imperative to the club's success. And we talk about vertical integration and giving the best players the opportunity to succeed at the best level. And one of the things that we've been able to embrace, even in this preseason, is giving players from the academy and the second team the ability to train with the first team. And if they do well, that door slowly starts to open a little bit more for them to stay with the first team. But it's also extremely important for players that are recovering from injury, that players that need to get confidence back, the ability to play with the second team. And I remember when Diego Chara was coming back, there's nothing better than to have one of the most important players in your club show how important that program is and go and play in the second team to get back his fitness, to get back to where he needs to be to contribute to the first team. And the thing that we often talk about is it's a great link between the academy and the first team, and that it is extremely important for that club to be fully embraced by everybody in the club and for it to be very beneficial to the first team. And I think with the foreigners that we'll be bringing in, it'll be similar to the Marvin Loria, Renzo Zambrano, to see how they adapt, how they adapt to the culture, to see if they can take that next step. Gio, I spoke for too long.
No, but you said everything, every point that was necessary in why it's so important for us to have this year the T2 and how limited we were in being able to use that as well as we did in the past for us to be able to be even more successful. So this year we'll have that with us. The relationship, having Shannon there is going to be great. We will be announcing some other pieces of coaches that will come and help with that and more players. It gives the ability for players to adapt earlier into this market with our idea as a team, the culture, and in so many ways, the fact that we're going to be training close to each other, it allows also in days that we need to rotate players, send players back and forth to make sure that our practices are competitive and are, the way we want to. So we're very excited about that. I think we understand every day more and more how things are going to look from the MLS perspective. But with the information that we have right now, I think is great to be able to work now together with the two teams. And we fully invested in the staff in the first team to watch the second team games as we did in the past with T2, to be close, to understand what's going on, to communicate and understand exactly the improvement of the players, and when we needed from some of the first team players to come down in order to get minutes and stay at the level that we need, is going to be important, that the relationship. So everything that Gavin said and all that is a huge thing happening this year for us and for Major League Soccer.
And the last thing to add is we will be rolling out in condensed announcements what the players that are being added look like, and announcing the roster. We still have a lot of work to do with building out that roster. We knew this was coming, but it is still us being reactionary in some ways, building out that team, and we'll be leaving several roster spots open as the season progresses as well, and filling those.
Thanks. Really appreciate you guys talking about T2. We had a lot of questions about T2 and just wanting an update. So thanks for providing that. I've got one last question to ask all of you, and then after that, I'll give you all the chance if you'd like to address the fans before we close it down for the night. This question is about the new kit. The fans want to know what you guys think of the new Rose kit. And yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Who wants to start us off? Eryk, you look like you got something to say about. No? Come on. You guys look real sharp in the kits, so they look great in the photos. Anyone got any thoughts on the new kit?
I'll say it first. I'll take it for everybody. So what I can say is that for me, by far, the best kit in Major League Soccer this year. So we feel that represents the city of Portland in a great way. The colors, and when you see the shorts that will be put in for this coming game against New England, it's going to look even better. So we're excited about this new kit this year. I feel the green also is a beautiful one as well, and I'm sure that we'll see many people being very interested in wanting to have one of them, not only here in Portland, but I think worldwide, because it's very unique.
Anybody else?
I think it's very beautiful. I love it. But I think it will be very expensive for me, because I had like 30, 40 people ask me for one. It will be tough. But I love it. I think it represents a lot for the Rose City also. I have a meaning behind the jersey.
Yeah, I was giving the guys a little bit of trouble, because I was lucky enough to do the jersey reveal last year. But I mean, this is the coolest jersey yet, and I was kind of hoping I could have done this one. But no, it's cool. I didn't think it was. I was able to see peaks of it before, and I didn't think it would turn out to be as cool as it is. I'm excited for it, and I think it's one that. I've always liked the black and red that we had in 2017 before I came, and then we turned to white, and then now it's, this is a second away jersey, and it's in, it's just next level.
Nice. Diego, do you have any thoughts about it? What about the family? What about the girls, the kids?
I think it's an awesome jersey to start our season, and we are really, really excited to do it.
Awesome. Well, I just want to give all of you guys a chance just to give any last thoughts as we open the season here this weekend. Got a lot of fans in here, and they'd sure love to hear from you if you want to close us out with any final thoughts. Seba, Eryk, Diego, you want to jump in and say anything to wrap us up? And then we'll go to Gio and Gavin after that.
Yes. First of all, say thank you so much for your support, and we are really excited to start the season this year and try to make a game to get the final. And once again, we are really, really excited to do it.
Well, for me, similar, of course. Thank you a lot for the people, for the support, for the patient. I know the people love our team, love this club, and also we love this. We feel a part of the family, this club, this community. So I'm glad to be part of this history. And of course, thank you for the people who make me feel I'm happy here and give me the opportunity to back. Let's go for more, and thank you, everybody.
Eryk, what about you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, not only thank you for having us here today, but also just, you know, we're excited to play in front of you guys. You know, it's been tough couple months, but I think we're all excited. We kind of left something on the table with MLS Cup, and I know it's one that we're excited to be back. Quick turnaround, and me especially, I've been itching to kind of play in front of you guys again, being itching to be in an atmosphere like MLS Cup. And I know it's one we're going to push for again. So I just, you know, want you guys to know that we truly appreciate you guys. You guys are our heartbeat. You guys are, you know, one of the main reasons why this game is so beautiful is that we're able to make Portland, you know, a soccer city. Everyone wants to be here. Everyone wants to play here, and it's truly an honor to be able to play in front of you guys. So.
Thanks, Eryk. Really, really well said from all three of you guys. Gavin and Gio, why don't you give us your closing thoughts here?
Yeah, for my part, I will start saying that in my travels this winter in Europe, it was amazing how many people recognize the passion that they saw in the final in Portland, and they couldn't believe how amazing they felt watching the game. The support was and the passion that our fans provided. So I have to say thank you to all of you for making sure that you feel that passion. I can assure you that the players, the staff, everyone in the club recognizes that. And with that said, I will say keep us always in high standards. Make sure that you push us to be better, push us to be competitive. We already are. We don't like to lose. We like to just make sure that we represent Portland the best possible way. But for you guys, keep on that way. And the way you can do best is the way you do, with that passion, with singing, with supporting, with being there in the best moments. But I will say also in the difficult moments, because we feel that we have to be a family, as we talk all the time in our locker room. And we include the fans in being part of that. And there's, you know, a big reason, as Eryk said, this is Soccer City, and you guys represent it on a constant way. So thank you very much, and we're excited about this 2022 season.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, just thank you again for taking time out of your evening. Thank you for the support, and we are excited about the season. Blanco had many clubs chasing him, and he came back to Portland for a reason, and you're a big part of it. I think the locker room, I think the coaching staff, the whole club, the ownership, there's a reason Sebastián came back to this, and there's a reason that Diego Chara re-signed and is looking to continue his career with this club. And a lot of that is because of you. I do go back to saying that we will continue to work. We will continue to earn back the trust. And I just am sincerely appreciative of the time this evening. And we will continue to work hard. Thank you.
Want to say thank you to Gavin, Gio, Seba, Eryk, Diego, taking the time this evening. I know you guys are very busy. I want to say a good luck to you this weekend in the opener. And once again, thanks to all our fans for joining us this evening. Looking forward to a great 2022 season. Everyone have a good night.